Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. And also keep in mind, these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy.
All right, folks, here we are after market close on Friday, January 7th. We're going to take a look at SoFi. Now, SoFi today coming down a little bit, but it was kind of back and forth all day. And, the overall market, we want to just sort of take a record. Um, you know, NASDAQ, which probably has relatively, relative to the Dow and to the S&P, more riskier stocks, certainly more tech stocks, right? So down almost 1%. SoFi down just over 1/4%. So I think, relatively speaking, in the overall scheme of the market, it held up relatively well today, at least on par, if not slightly better. And against, what I like to check in on, Finex definitely outpaced Finex and definitely outpaced ARC-F. And I threw a couple of these in here to Affirm, down quite a bit more, Upstart down quite a bit more. So that said, everything has a different sort of history and point in which it's coming from, right? Some of those stocks have had wild run-ups in the past. Not that SoFi hasn't, but there are certain degrees of run-ups. So this is just to say, I think in the vast scheme, SoFi held up really well. I just, like I had mentioned, I think in my last video, no one wants to see us back here in the 13s, right? But let's take a look at what's been going on with the levels, because to be honest, if you were kind of trying to keep track today, nothing was really that helpful in the vast scheme of things. I feel like I keep saying that for some reason, but the MA here is kind of cutting through the mid-range of the day, but not offering a lot of areas to find support and resistance. And the VWAP even just kind of being relatively disjointed from a lot of the price action throughout the day. There wasn't a lot of interacting with it, which could have made it challenging. But if you had this 1402 on your chart, you would have seen it come down and try to catch in that zone when it was free falling here, and made an attempt and then dipped below and tried very briefly to reclaim and then lost it. And then that's where it came down and came within 7 cents of the 1355 that we had charted, and then came back up and tried to reclaim the 1402, right? So to me, that provided a pretty solid roadmap for the day in terms of like levels in which it was maneuvering itself to and from, and maybe sort of having an idea of the guidepost that it was following. And I think yesterday was relatively similar. I didn't put out a video yesterday because I was just, again, challenged for time. Tuesdays and Thursdays are going to be a little bit challenging for me on time, just in general. But, the prices yesterday that we have on the chart, that we've had on the chart for several weeks, right? These aren't new. I didn't just put these in yesterday. These held up tremendously well. This fell within 7 cents down here, right? So when it was an absolute free fall, if you had 308 on your chart, you could have said, okay, here's the chance. And then 1355, that's where it struggled, right? Pulled back, reclaimed, and then made a run at 1402, and then kind of got stuck under 1402 for most of the day. But again, gave relatively decent guideposts and paths to look for on the intraday action, even though we drew these resistance and support levels in on the daily chart. So just to reiterate why I spend so much time harping on these levels, it's for that reason. So in any case, is the bottom in? I don't know. I mean, as you know, I took like some additional positions before we started drawing back down because I was hoping that we were signaling breakouts, and I was trying to kind of catch that early, which is certainly a trading flaw of mine. I think two things. I don't really try to catch a falling knife, so I avoid that relatively well. But trying to catch breakouts early will sometimes really, really bite me in the butts, and this is one of those times. But so be it. A lot of the positions that I have are long-term focused, so I'm not super, super worried about it. But like we had said in the videos as we're starting to draw down, hopefully we weren't going to need the 13s, but we have needed the 13s. That said, this wick, like we just looked at yesterday, falling 7 cents below the 1308 level, and then pushing itself back up nicely, right? This I know it's kind of hard to see because this volume gets in the way, but this did a good job of pinning the body of the candle higher up on the totem pole, if you will. And then today, even though we have this like inverse hammer looking candle, we are a step up on the support level that we're now utilizing, right? So this support level here at 1355, good to see it holding there, because I'm hoping that basically unlocks us for another run at reclaiming 14, which will be a heavy psychological level, and we're just going to have to kind of wrestle with that a little bit, I think. If we pull in, the MA is situated up there near this 1746 level. The EMAs, this 12, which would be the next one to wrestle with, 1475, so situated right near our 1466. I would like to look and see what the 5 is doing while we're here. So let me just pop these off so they're not in the way, because the 5 is going to be tighter in, obviously, right? Okay, so on our drawdown recently, 5 providing resistance. Yesterday the dip was so low that it didn't even touch it, but at least today, the top area of this wick touching the 5 and sort of giving us some areas to wrestle with and reclaim as we try to figure out if the bottom's in or not. Now, if it is in, what I would look for is reclaiming that 14 level and then building from there. Even if that just means basing between 1402 and 1466 for a while. That could be the case. Otherwise, if the bottom is not yet in, we're really going to have to take a good look here, because there's not a lot to go off of below this 1308, which is why that was where I stopped, right? But we had this resistance and we had this support, which wasn't a lot. And then beyond that, I mean, this was that's where that 1355 came from. And so it's really just those two things. So it's kind of like flimsy-ish. It's not the strongest level that we've ever drawn, that's for sure. But while we're here, I'll put in what I would consider the likely next level, 1208. So it's an entire dollar down from the previous level, which I think a lot of these things just equate to be like the nearest round number, right? 1308 is probably just the psychological 13. 1355 is just probably the psychological 1350. But sometimes that slight variance in a few pennies puts us a little bit closer to the catch zones. But in any case, I'll stick that there for now. I really hope we don't need it, but I don't know, obviously. And I don't know, the longer that the just kind of waiting for the bank charter news to come in, I don't know at what point that starts to like detract from like bullish momentum coming into play and us being able to drive price action upward. I really don't know, but we'll see. So those are the three scenarios, and I don't know what's going to happen, right? Because I don't know if this relatively sideways action from yesterday to today means we might have a chance to start kind of stepping up, or if it means that we're going to kind of move sideways for a little bit, or if we're going to continue down this path, because we are now stuck under this like downtrend. You can clearly see a downtrend line here, right at the top of these candles. It's pretty apparent. And so we'll put that in for now. I don't think that muddies the chart too much. We'll keep it a small one there. But this will help be a guidepost for, okay, are we breaking through the downtrend resistance or not? Now, I did want to flip over and just offer up some of what's happening on unusual whales. Take a look at what some of the options activity looks like. Most active chains today, this is just the intraday analysis. So just keep in mind, this is just particular to today. Now these were 0 days to expiry, so these are expiring today. So $14 calls, and they expired out of the money. Sorry, kids. 1450 calls also expired out of the money. 14 puts. So I didn't check what the max pain was today, but us reaching under 14 there. I'm putting a lot of these, certainly these 15s, right, out of play. Definitely providing some premium in the pocket of whomever. The biggest option trades, this is biggest by premium, 693K, bullish. Okay, there's a sea of red here. There's 8 bearish trades and 2 bullish trades. But this is $15 puts for like a year from now. Right? That's January 20th, 2023. A lot of these are pretty far out, though some are closer in. Selling $10 calls, I don't know what that's all about. That's nutty to me. Maybe they're just wanting to get rid of their shares and collect a big premium to do. I have no idea. Maybe with that premium, it puts it about in the $14 range to break even, so that makes sense. I don't know. But in any case, this is what the biggest option trades look like. Again, this is just from today. So just keep in mind, yes, there's a lot of red here. This is just what the largest premium, the 10 largest premium trades did today. Highest open interest increase, mostly green, and relatively far out. Highest open interest decrease, predominantly red, pretty mixed, but predominantly red, predominantly green. Highest open interest increase by percentage, and decrease by percentage, all red. So that could signal, that there's long-term, relatively bullish outlook. This I didn't scroll down and look through it all, so I don't know. But and even the other stuff I just briefly glanced at. But chains with the highest open interest. So the 21st, that's 2 weeks. The $20 calls. Wow, trading for just $4 and $5 at the moment. It looks like. Okay, I don't think I've ever scrolled down this far. So we'll have to. Wow, look at this. We'll have to take a look at those another time. But the filters that I use here to just see, again, what some of the largest trades have been doing. Now, nothing came in today that fit my criteria. Premium 30K, all these filters over here. But in any case, you do see it is relatively bullish recently. I mean, this stretches back about nearly a month, though, at this point, from what you can see on here. But the thing that I was looking at is just if you look at the sheer premium, the bullish premium accounting for about 54% of all the premium, for about 46% of it is bear premium. So that may say in the overall scheme, maybe the whales are leaning slightly bullish. I don't know, but all of these things, like I feel like I say way too often, are just indications as we're trying to kind of decipher what could be happening in the price action, and then pulling in some additional data points like what are the large players doing with SoFi, just to kind of try to get an indication and essentially make some educated guesses, right? But an educated guess is still a guess, and so it goes. All right, folks. Well, this is what I'm looking at. That's my bullish, bearish, and neutral scenarios for the coming weeks ahead. It's just a time of flux, and we're just gonna have to, flux with it and see how it goes and play it as it comes. All right, folks. I hope you had a good trading week and that you enjoy the weekend and that you start off the week strong on Monday. As always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.